What's going on, guys? My man Nicholas, what's going on, man? Hopefully, you got to check out the earlier stream. We had a lot of new people on the stream earlier this morning. But yeah, man, it's been a wild day all over the place today. But you guys, excuse me, you guys see the title? We got to talk about as a man, once you get your heart broken, you never view women the same ever again. Now, granted, there are some men out there that are hopeless romantics, but that's a very small percentage. And so we're going to get into that shortly. We're going to let some people get in here first before we get started with the live stream. Hopefully you've been doing all right, Nicholas, so far this weekend. Hopefully you got some new girls to talk to. You got to update us on your new escapades, dating escapades. But yeah, man, it's been a busy day so far. Busy day. I do believe, however, that as a man, if you're going to get your heart broken, it's better for you to get your heart broken early in life, like in your teenage years, early 20s. That's where you need to go through the heartbreak and get to knowing that women are capable of being effed up and doing you dirty. You need to get that realization early, especially a lot of you guys that are going to be successful later in life. You need to know the games and the different tricks that women will play on you, and so that you're aware of it. So when you get the money, you get the status, you're not disillusioned as to why she's really with you. Nicholas writes, I got a new woman. Hell yeah, the world's your oyster. Got a new girl. Man, Nicholas is a true player. A new woman every week. So yeah, as you guys come in here before we get the live stream started, you guys hit the like button, double tap the screen. Yes, girl, you can give Sully a shout out. Yes, girl. I don't know what. Nah, you said yes, girl. I'm not a girl. Is that like an underhanded insult? We should be taught game, nature, women. It's not kind to learn the hard way. Yes, bro, but sometimes, unfortunately, some dudes have to learn the hard way. Like let me give you guys a story time before we get into the live stream. And this goes hand in hand with what we're talking about in today's live stream on how why I think men should get their heart broken early. So there's this kid at my job, and he's like a 19, 20-year-old kid. I think he just turned 19 years old. And he's working in the warehouse, and she's working in sales. So right off the bat, you shouldn't be dating at the workplace. That's the first lesson he has to learn. But that's not the only one. So apparently he's dating this girl, and I've seen him walk around work together, making it obvious, which is a mistake. You need to keep these things under wraps. Um, but however, she is 26 years old. He's 19, about to turn or just turned 20. She has a kid already. That's not a good recipe to start off on a good relationship. Wow, the Packers and the Cowboys just tied. What world are we living in? They just tied in the game. That's ridiculous. Anyways, back to the story. So this kid is clearly in love with this 26-year-old that has a baby daddy, and he don't realize that she's older than him, meaning that she's more experienced than him, meaning that she has more game than him. He's 19, 20 years old, homie. Probably This is probably the first woman that gave him a proper BJ, that threw it back on him when he was having intercourse. And so partially the reason why he's so in love with this woman at work is probably because they already had intercourse already or in coitus, and she put it back on him, and he ain't never, busted a nut that hard ever in his life. So not only is he in love, but he's lustful. Um, and then he's going to get into a relationship and have to take care of a kid that's not his biological kid, that can cause problems. Now he thinks that she really loves him, but what he don't realize is whenever he's not around, whenever she disappears and not answering her texts, she's still sleeping with the baby father. That's a relationship she can never break. She'll be attached to that guy for the rest of her life. And so he's in a situation to where he's set up to get his heart broken, but it's necessary. Not necessarily that I want him to get his heart broken, but people have warned him and he doesn't want to listen. So he's going to have to learn the hard way. It's unfortunate, but yeah, he's head over heels for this woman. Nick was right. She got him for sex. It sounds like. Yeah, I mean, apparently she finds him attractive, but and maybe maybe she's like an older woman and she knows she's a single mother and she's having trouble finding men that will like her outside of her child and outside of just having intercourse. So maybe she's like, maybe I should date younger. Either way it goes, this is not a situation that's going to last. She probably makes more money than him, and so yeah, it's a situation that's set up for failure from the beginning, and it's sad. But sometimes dudes just got to go through it. You have to hit your head on a goal post. You got to hit your head so you can these lessons can stick with you a lot harder. But let's get into the live stream, guys. Once you love a woman, you can never truly love another woman. That doesn't mean that the new woman that you're with, you don't respect her. That doesn't mean that you won't die for her, you won't be loyal to her. It's just that you realize after a little bit of dealing with women, guys, you've heard everything. You heard I love you and she didn't mean it. You heard that, she would never do that to you. And she did that same thing to you. So once you dealt with enough women and then you find out that their words don't exactly match their actions, you go into this protection mode of your heart. You're like, I can't truly trust you all the time to say the truth and to be truthful. So in order for me to avoid my heart being broken, I have to be logical and realize that you're a fickle person, capable of changing the situation on a dime because of your emotions. That's when you're starting to mature. That's when you're starting to understand women. That's when you begin to understand women relationships, and the relationships will last a lot longer. When you understand that women are fickle, their words mean very little, they will change on you on a dime. And so you always have to always keep your thinking cap on. You can't just automatically just say, oh, well, she will never cheat on me. Oh, well, she'll never do this and that. No, she's a human being and she can do these things to you. And you always have to look into certain stuff. You should never turn your head whenever she's going out on girls' nights and she has her titties out. That should be a red flag for you. You should never be like, well, she'll go out there and she won't ever get involved in to anything nefarious. That's the time. The minute that you stop putting her feet to the fire, the minute that you put your guard down, that's when the heartbreak happens. I was watching, How I Met Your Mother, and one of the characters that got married pretty early, he was telling his wife, he was like, you know what? You should take your ring off, and I know you're at the bar. You should take your ring off and get a whole bunch of attention from different men. And then once he gets to the bar with her, he can't take it. That's one of those situations to where you believe that your woman is better than what she is, and then she, behind your back, she done took it off, and she's wanting this attention and craving this attention from all these different kinds of men, and then that's how you get ended up cheated on, all this stuff because you let your guard down. Maturing is keeping women in their rightful spot that they can change at any moment. That's when you're starting to understand women and understand relationships and construct a strategy around it. Nicholas writes, I loved hard in my teens. My 20s was cautious, anticipating the same old, and I was right. I look at everything from a factual POV now. Exactly, bro. Exactly, bro. Things can be going right in the relationship, and I'll be like, well, it went right today. It went right this week. We still got tomorrow. You know, in a weird kind of fucked up way. You know, I kind of view relationships like, how you wake up and you're married with, you're sleeping next to your woman. You wake up, you go to sleep, you wake up, you're like, oh, you still here? Hmm. Seem like okay, she's still here. That's how I view relationship. You still here. You didn't flake today, huh? You didn't change up on me today, huh? They operate from a cold mindset. As soon as they start feeling good about you, yeah, talk about it, bruh. They be gone. Women be dipping, bruh. Homie, let me give you guys a harsh truth about women and men. See, men, we're greedy with women. We want to have that woman. We want to have a big booty black woman or white woman right there, and then we want an Asian woman, petite Asian woman right there, and then we want a blonde, brunette, or brunette right there, and then we want, a dark skinned black woman and a light skinned black woman. So we're greedy as men. We're greedy with women. We want multiple women at the same time. You know what I'm saying? That we're not going to, if we have a good main chick or a good woman, we're not going to discard her. We just want her and two other women. That's men in a nutshell. Women, when they see another guy that's better than you, they shut off all attention from you immediately and give it right to him as if you didn't exist. And she'll cut this off in an instant. She'll go cold turkey in an instant. This is flaking. This explains flaking. This explains ghosting. This explains why she's not texting back. This explains why she's not giving you intercourse and relationships. This explains why, because she's went cold. She's found a different option that's better than you, and she's trying to see if that's a better option. From one day to the next, gang, gone. They're studying everything we do, say everything we do or say. We don't do or say. The symbiotes have absolute symbiotes. Yes, guys. They're quick to discard you every time. Not every time. If you're the best guy available and you hit her emotions consistently, she'll be attached to you. But women don't understand, especially in this time and age, that you're not gonna feel happy all the time. You're not gonna be happy all the time. So the women don't understand that. And so that's why they jump ship as soon as times get hard. Yeah, being the placeholder. So the reason why a man can never truly love a woman after he fell in love with her the first time or fell in love with a woman the first time is because it's like once you realize what women are capable of as a man, the mask of them kind of falls off. Before, when you believe that women were angels and they did everything right, and they were just wanting to be petted and all this ridiculous stuff that you're taught by society, and you just get her some flowers and tell her she looks nice and she won't leave you, kind of stuff. All that stuff begins to fall away once you get your heart broken, whether she leaves you because you were a nice guy and she couldn't put up with it, or she left you and cheated on you with another man, or whatever the situation is that broke your heart. The mask of them, the fantasy of them, the version of them that they sell you in Disney, is it falls off, and you start to look at them more rationally and logically, and you don't commit as easy, and you're more weary and cautious, living in your logic. And so that's why it's hard to love a woman after you've been in love, because the mask of love is falling off. You know, it's just like what 21 said in that song. You can love somebody and still do them wrong. So what does love really truly mean? Is love some fantasy feeling? Love isn't going to, you got to have some tangible, likable characteristics that keep a person in standard of respect, that keep a relationship going. Love by itself isn't going to get the job done. Low key, I don't know what that is, bro. We don't need, you completely off topic. You completely off topic. They're like a toy. You can push their buttons one way or other, easily manipulate. Well, Nicholas, that's only for the guys that get women on a consistent basis. Most guys don't get women on a consistent basis, or don't have that much experience with women. Most women have way more experience than the average guy. Women, you gotta understand, women have been getting sexual attention since they were 12, 13 years old. And some of these women have been having intercourse since they were 14, 15 years old. Freshmen in high school, dating the junior. So, these women have been partying in their high school years. They've been having intercourse in their high school years. And so by the time they get to college, they just do it tenfold because their parents aren't there. So women have way more experiences, guys. So like the average guy cannot manipulate a woman. Yeah, women's emotions change with the wind, man. Nicholas writes, I can love a woman like I love a sunny day. It is what it is. How weather change, women's energy towards you can change. Exactly. Yeah, we're not even talking about that ride back. I don't know why are you guys being off topic? What's wrong with you guys? And so everybody remembers their first heartbreak. You know what I'm saying? Um, excuse me. Sometimes, if we're being honest, some dudes got to get their heart broken multiple times in order for them to learn this valuable lesson. That's unfortunate because, you know, you, the thing about love, and you don't want to fall and be disappointed from women way too much. You don't want to be hateful towards women. You don't want to be jaded towards women. You just want to be in your logical state of mind. Guys on the internet, they take the shit too far and say like they hate women and all this ridiculous stuff. It's just like, no, bro, like you should have some discernment. You need to understand that women will leave you. You need to understand that just because she's here today, she can be gone tomorrow. These are harsh truths that you have to accept or don't accept, and don't deal with women. Get you a sex robot and move on. And so that's part of the game. You have to have a level of discernment and intelligence when dealing with this game, because you can't just give your heart frivolously out to different women and then it gets stomped on, and Then, if that happens too many times, you start hating women, you start hating people, and that's not a healthy mindset to have, because you're going to hate them, but you're going to still want them for intercourse and all this ridiculous stuff. And Nicholas writes, I lost chicks I really liked the hard way. If I knew what I knew now back then. Yeah, I knew it. If I knew what I knew now back then, I would have never got, went through the same situations I did in high school and college. But this is a part of the game. This is what we signed up for. And this is a key understanding that your father, or your father didn't tell you. This is women is an important lesson for all men, because we don't talk about these topics enough. We always talk, men always talk about, you got to get the money, you got to get in shape. All of that is important too, but you have to understand women. You have to, because most of the kingdoms, the kings, the societies, uh, men's powers, all of it gets drained from selecting the wrong woman. A lot of gangsters get set up because they're dealing with the wrong woman. A lot of these situations happen because you're dealing with the wrong woman. So we need to be taught about women from a very young age. I mean, they're being taught about men from a very young age. Men are capable of doing this and that. Women be gamed up by the time they're 10, 15 years old. As a guy, you don't understand women at all until you get your heart broken. Nobody properly prepares you for this stuff at all. You just gotta wing relationships, wing it. Hey, you guys, shout out to my man Chris in the building. Polka dot. You guys go follow him on TikTok. He does a lot of college football content. You guys go follow him on TikTok. The same name you see right here is the same name that he has over there on TikTok. You guys go check him out. Chris, we didn't tie. They didn't. The Green Bay and Cowboy game didn't tie. That's crazy work. That's crazy work. I don't know how that's gonna work if it comes down to that game, how that game affects the playoff and the standings in the NFC. But Chris writes, when you get your heart broken that first time, it's like your eyes open up about women and relationships. Exactly. The mask falls off. How you view them falls off, because we're all conditioned that women can do no wrong. They're these little princesses that can never, that are not capable of doing anything wrong. And then you realize that's the total opposite, homie. She'll be cheating on you with three other dudes at the same time. You know what I'm saying? She'll be telling you she loves you, and you're the only one she's talking to, and she have gotten trained by the football team. So these are important realizations that men need to understand about women, but we learn these lessons way too late. And when we learn these lessons too late, you lose time, you lose resources, you lose maybe your family. And so, marriage, relationships, the of your children, that's an extremely important decision to make. But like I said in the live stream earlier today, and if you guys haven't watched the live stream earlier today, I highly recommend it. It was very popular. I had a lot of people interacting with it with the chat. Toxic is the new normal. So a lot of these women are toxic and they don't realize it. And so if we know what we know about women today, that it's just a very important decision that we need to make about who we date, who we have kids with, who we marry, whatever we do, long-term relationships. If we know that's an important decision, but we also know that toxic in relationships and how they act is the new normal as well, damn, we're in a predicament. you realize how bad of a predicament that we're in. And you have to be taking these women through the proper vetting process, guys, because I promise you, you would rather lose her early than for her to screw you financially or whatever later. I promise you. You know, as a guy, you can recover from your mistakes when you're by yourself. You can recover, excuse me, you can recover from a bad decision financially. You can recover from debt financially. You can recover making a bad purchase on a vehicle. You can recover, you know, making bad financial decisions. But when you have a woman and you know her decision making affects you, the both of you, and it tanks both of you, sometimes that decision by itself is so massive and the consequences are so massive that it's going to take you years to get past. And it's not just when you have a woman involved, it's not just emotions, it's financial, it's uh, you know, your kids possibly, your assets that you built up, your car. So this is a very important decision that we have to emphasize that you need to vet properly on. This is extremely serious, guys. You know, we talk about women and all this stuff, but you know, this is a very important decision that we need to make, and the wrong decision can put you years behind. Let's see, we would be entire Nicholas Rice. We would be entirely different people if we had been brought up with the true knowledge. Talk about it, how it is used, how it used to be, traditional men, traditional woman, early marriage. It worked roles, and plus the 304s, you know, the brothels, they were on the outskirts of the city, and so and they kept those women over there, and it was a private place that only they knew about. And so the 304s were out of sight, out of the mainstream society. You had to go out there and venture and pay for that. But in today's society, the 304s is the normal. How they dress, how they act, how they talk, the things that they do. So again, you better be asking the right questions, guys, because I promise you, you do not want to learn this stuff whenever you're knee deep in a legal marriage with a state that has really bad penalties for you. Um, Polka Dot writes, or my man Chris writes, a woman will tell you she can't be, she can. I just messed up your whole thing. A woman will tell you she can't be with you because you're not toxic enough. Like, make it make sense, bruh. Talk about it. Women, toxic is the new normal. Toxic is the new normal. Women only like toxic now. I got a video coming out this week where a woman literally said that, hey, I was waiting on my man to be toxic and the villain so that I could leave him, give him an excuse to leave her. And then you got women that are like, well, I want him to be a toxic man because that's what I'm attracted to. Right. The good men today are being or losing at every level. You're losing at every level. You're getting used, manipulated, and left. The Nicholas Rice, they find the bad boy character attractive. They want you to tick all the boxes for them. Yeah, and that's the delusion of women today. She wants you to be a corporate CEO guy wearing a suit, but underneath the suit, you have a whole bunch of tattoos. And when you get off work, you know you smoke weed and you stay up till 2 o'clock in the morning, drinking alcohol, and then you go back to your corporate job and you know you're the boss and the CEO. Women have no concept of reality. The CEO guy that wears a suit is nothing like the bad boy. Not even close. Nicholas writes, a bad breakup can also ruin a new opportunity with a new woman because you're not in the right mind frame. That's a new thing. That's a good thing as well. I remember in high school that my relationship had ended terribly, and there was a woman that was younger than me that was really attractive. But since I didn't get over that and take the time to get over that, you know, I missed out on that woman. But you know, years later, it wasn't really that bad of a decision. we wouldn't have panned out anyway. I made unpopular but thoughtful. Shout out to him. He was on the stream earlier this morning. Um, very thoughtful. And then they get mad when we go down the passport bro route. Yeah, it's like damn, you got to if you want a traditional woman, or a woman with basic respect and morals of a natural woman should have, feminine woman should have. Yeah, they're gonna get themselves. Chris writes, they're gonna get themselves played and left with a kid. That's all the bad boy is. See, like the reason why they like the bad boy is because he has swag. He don't give a f. He's dominant, but he's so narcissistic some most of the time to where he's just gonna leave her. You know what I'm saying? Most of the time, the women that he's smashing, he's going raw in them, and he's talking to multiple chicks, and so that's how they end up being baby moms, is because they like the dominance, they like the difference that he has, and the swag and the charisma and the confidence that he has, but he's not a good person, a good husband, because he's talking to multiple people, and you know that's the downside to this. But young women today, that's what they want initially. They don't snap out of that until the late 20s, early 30s. And so that's when you guys see women today that are in their 20s and they're pregnant and they're single moms, what Chris just described is exactly what happened to them. They got played by a bad boy. And you know what's crazy? I know chicks that have a kid with a bad boy and they still mess with him. They still deal with him. And they know he ain't gonna change. They're addicted to the toxicity that he possesses. It's quite crazy. And so if you're a good guy and you realize and detect that, her past relationships were dudes with the hat backwards, with the weed, with the joint on the top of his ear. If you realize that that's who she's been dating the past 5 to 10 years, and you're nothing like that guy, you need to run for the hills, because she's just using you. She gonna cheat on you with the bad boy, because she never. How are you gonna change your attraction level? You can't change what you're attracted to. Like for me, I like thick women, and it don't matter, or with curvy women. Not to say thick women. Let me be more specific. Curvy women. So it don't matter with race. I lost my train of thought, but it doesn't matter the race. And so that's something that I can't get over attraction wise. And so if a woman's been dealing with toxic men her entire life, she likes the toxic guy. She's not going to automatically like the guy that goes golfing and she wears the caddy shorts and, oh yeah, we got to get you up out of here. But yeah, you're not going to change your attraction level to what you're attracted to. Women that like the bad boys need to stay over there in the bad boy lane, because once they get with the good guy, they're going to break the good guy's heart, and he's going to become jaded and black pilled and hate women. And it just causes this unnecessary stuff. Unpopular but thoughtful writes, well, Nicholas had something before. I don't plan on taking women serious ever again. Just enjoy them for who they are. Yeah, bro, you gotta have that level of mindset. You cannot just fall in love with these women. You can respect a woman, you can be loyal to a woman, but do not fall in love. That is a terrible decision for you. Unpopular says, but when you tell women that, they take that the wrong way. They want the emotions, they want the flowers. And it's just like, we'll get that stuff for you, but we're going to stay in our rational mind. We know that you're only loyal to your emotions, and you can change at any moment. So we're going to keep our thinking caps on. Unpopular but thoughtful writes, my high school sweetheart is 27 now, no marriage, no kids, still lives at home. Uh, they either end up as baby mothers or babies until they can't have babies. It's crazy. Bro, talk about it. That's the playbook. That's the playbook that most women have. And that's why the statistics by 2030 that they're going to be mostly 50% of women are going to be mostly single and childless is we see why. In the old days, you could marry and you could stay married and you raise the kid as a family. What happened? Feminism is what happened. Guys, when it comes down to the relationships falling apart, that is the majority of feminism. Feminism screwed relationships. The reason why women were so promiscuous is because of the sexual liberation that feminism gave them. We can have as much intercourse as these men are having. Because back in the day, the women would, they'd put up with their man cheating on them. Uh, and so then they're like, we can work. Then we can have as many sexual partners as men. Then, hey, career, we can go to college. We can be the boss babe. We can raise our kids on our own. And all of that just deteriorated the family. And then since a lot of these women they have this single mother, excuse me, they have this single mother mentality of like, I raised my kids on my own. I raised my kids and I did it all by myself. Well, what she really created was a whole bunch of weak men and broken women. Single women cannot raise children properly. I don't know how many times we have to look at the statistics. Most kids in prison came from single parent households. And so either you're going to be raised to be a criminal or you're going to be a weak sissy boy male, or you're going to be, just straight off, GAY. That's the kind of people that they raise. And, of course, she's working all the time because she's a single mom and she has to, and she's not all around all the time. And so that's how these kids, they get into these early sexual interactions at 10, 11, 12, 13 years old. Is because their mom is not raising them. She's at work and she don't have a father to keep the discipline in the household. And so, of course, right, and that's how some of them get molested, is because the uncle sees the situation and he's like, you know what, that's an opportunity for me to sneak in there and get it because she's vulnerable and her mom ain't ever there. Like, and then, while you at work, she ditching school to get with the high school quarterback or the high school star receiver. And so, of course, she's going to skip school and go over his place or whatnot because you're not around to check her. You're working, or she's going to invite him over. And then guess what? She's been sexually active at 16 years old. And so, guys, all of this is feminism. All of this relationships around the world are deteriorating because of feminism. It has to be destroyed, guys. If we do not destroy this, the shit will get worse. Like I told you guys earlier in today's stream, feminism has to be a tool used to get, since they know AI is going to take over, it has to be a tool that's being used currently to depopulate the population. Because once you have a whole bunch of career feminist women, they're not going to have that many children, maybe one child. And she only has one child because she's 30 years old. She can only have maybe one or two children. Women lose most of their eggs by 32, 33. So I thank the Lord for thick women. It's something about them thick thighs, bruh. I mean, hey, I like curvy women. Hey. And so we have to be honest with ourselves. Like men, we're honest. We know what we like. But women, they're not honest with themselves. And so that's why they break the good guy's heart instead of just being with the toxic guys they're naturally attracted to. The 29-year-old I've been seeing for weeks, her history is with wealthy beta male provider men. while seeing guys on the side. Yeah, can't ever trust her. You know, the money is never enough. And so women, guys, guys be oversimplifying women. They're like, hey, if you just get the money, you'll have every woman that you want. It's just like, yeah, but I see a lot of men that have money and their girl will be at a HEB and they be flirting with the guy that be loading the groceries. Or, she be flirting with the personal trainer because the personal trainer has time to talk and give her some emotional stimulation. So, just making money and she just gonna come over and be submissive and you gotta do nothing else. That's not gonna work either. Yeah, Chris, talk about it. He says using raising a kid by yourself as a flex is horrible. I don't know who convinced women. It gotta be feminism, but I don't know why. That's the stupidest stuff I've ever heard. Because you're hurting the child and you're hurting yourself. Why do that? Why? But that's women's mindset today. Toxic is the new normal. To be honest, unpopular but thoughtful writes, to be honest, I'm grateful they went full mask off these past few years. It made it easy to want to stay away from these emotional financial black holes. Yeah, 'cause that's what they are. That's what they are, guys. If you choose the wrong woman, you will be emotionally, mentally, and financially broken. Yeah, because I remember my dad when he got divorced, bro, he was in the trailer home for about a year. That marriage eviscerated him, took everything away from him. Guys, these relationship consequences, and plus we all know a guy that has multiple baby mamas, and they driving him crazy. They draining him for resources on child support, and he can't ever get ahead. And so this is these bad decisions with women are extremely costly for you. And so every dude should be gamed up on women by the time every dude is 18 years old, he should be fully gamed up on what it takes and what women's true nature truly is. Long-term relationships with the provider while meeting the side guys. Yeah, because you want that emotional support, that emotional stimulation, or she just want a better Johnson. Women, a lot of guys don't understand that a lot of women today are nymphos, and you don't want a nympho, bro. She gonna cheat on you because you can't keep up, bro. You can go maybe 2, 3 rounds, and your ass gonna need to recover. Hell, you gonna need a few days to recover, especially if you putting your back into it. You gonna need some days to recover, and she can go all day because she's the receiver, and she's not doing nothing but just sitting there. And that's another thing that you guys have to understand. You're not gonna outbang a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not gonna. You guys get jaded, and you're like, I'm gonna f her best friend. Like, homie, you could get your best friend, your dad, and your brother in the same week. Using the kids as a bargaining chips for assistance and for revenge on the father is absolutely disgusting. I mean, it is disgusting, unpopular, but thoughtful. It's extremely disgusting. What's going on? What's going on, Half Hawk? He said you got snow bunnies at the crib. Nah, bro. Yeah, and it's crazy, bro. Like women really get vindictive, and they really will. There's a no level they won't stoop to. Like they'll harm the kids just to, pick at you. Women are absolutely crazy, guys. Nicholas Rice is definitely the Johnson. They're with the boyfriend for wealthy lifestyle and the side guy strictly for satisfying sex with a guy she's attracted to. Yeah, women, that's the thing. Women, since they have this delusional mindset, they think they can have their cake and eat it too. And so, yeah, guys, yeah, I hope to all you guys that think that just because you got money and you got wealth, that your woman would never leave you. Um, First of all, you're not around with her all the time because you're working so much, and that can be attractive to women that you have ambition. But if you have too much ambition and you just neglect her and leave her out, homie, your bodyguard, your security, excuse me, your chef, the pool guy that fixes the pool, the plumber that comes and fixes the house, if he's giving her that emotional conversation and support that she's been yearning from you while you're out working and trying to, achieve your goals, homie, she's going to cheat. And guys, I'm gonna give you guys this game too before we get off this live stream. If you cheated or did a woman wrong in a relationship and she stayed with you, you better believe that she got her get back. Because a decent woman would have left you if you cheated on her and she found out about it, she would leave you. So if she most of the times what I've noticed, if you all the guys that have done a woman wrong, they've gotten their get back in some way, and the guy will never know it. Will never know it. Unpopular but thoughtful writes, in old times, the father was a source of direction and provider. Now the state has taken the place of the father. Exactly. They go to the government. That's what they call whenever you get too old and they can't discipline you, who do they call? The cops, meaning the government, the state. Whenever they want financial money out of you from child support, who do they call? The state. Whenever they need government assistance to pay for housing, to pay for food, SNAP benefits, and uh, metro housing, they call the government, poverty stricken housing. They call the government for that stuff. And so the government is truly their provider and direction. And plus, they have a boss that they listen to. So, guys, there's like three different guys that are ahead of you. A woman will work a whole, guys, a woman will work a dead end job for 10 years faithfully, get talked by bad by her boss, and she'll put up with it. Meanwhile, you have one standard that you want her to adhere to, and she's quick to leave the relationship. Make that make sense. So she'd rather listen to the state, she'd rather listen to her boss, she'd rather listen to her pastor before she listens to the man that will bury her, that will raise her kids, that will take care of her in bad times. That's how crazy all this is. Unpopular further writes, he said, even conservative women do it. Steven Crowder had a Christian traditional wife. She pulled the rug and drug his name through the mud, did the same thing liberal ones did. Yes, bro, I've been talking about this for years, bro. Conservative and liberal don't, they're the same woman. You want to know why they're the same woman? Tell a conservative woman, tell a liberal woman to go be a homemaker, raise the kids, take care of the home. And leave her career. I promise you, both of them will falter, and then you realize that, damn, you know, they're both feminists. They are both feminist guys. How are you a good mother whenever you're out working 60 hours a week? That's ridiculous, guys. I know a guy that's at work, he got a relationship, and he got a whole wife, and they got to have a nanny, and they got to pay for a nanny, maids, stuff that should be free because your wife should be willing to do it. But again, she's been raised to be a feminist. She's been raised to be um, a strong, independent woman, which causes relationship problems. And so yeah. And then unpopular. I know you know about Tommy Lauren, Megan Kelly. These women are straight up feminist. Straight feminist. Nicholas writes, I'm with a girl several nights a week. She leaves work early with me for 20 minutes, then gets picked up by her boyfriend. Yeah, homie. Like, guys don't understand. And I don't mean to make you guys paranoid. We're just spitting that real shit about how women truly are. Um, a lot of you guys don't understand that a woman can cheat on you. Um, Guys, intercourse don't take that long to get accomplished. You're like, damn, why you take a good extra 10, 15, 20 minutes to go get groceries? Why you do that? It's because she probably went to a guy's house, got smashed out, and then went to the grocery store and came back. I've heard these stories before. Bro, we not even talking about that. I don't even know what that is. He said, I don't mean to black pill you to, bro, I already understand all that stuff, bro. You not, I understand the true realities of human beings. So nothing that human beings do ever will shock me. He says, I don't mean to be black pill too hard, but imagine being 5'1" and not rich. You're effed in America. You could be loyal, honest, hardworking, don't matter. Just put it into perspective. Yeah, you're gonna have to get a midget, bro. Just ain't no way around it. You're gonna have to go get you a midget, is what you're gonna have to get. That's real. If you 5'1", it ain't too many dudes that's 5'1", but if you are 5'1", you're gonna have to get a midget, bro. They just, hey, I get it. Having a woman is better than no woman. But hell, even the midgets be getting smashed out. I heard. You said, bro, you 5'1", bro. Tell me you capping. Yeah, hey, bro, I don't blame you. Unpopular, but bro, you definitely gotta, bro. I don't blame you at all, bro. You gotta do, hey, bro. A woman is better than no woman, and if you gotta go out of the country to get it, or you gotta go get a midget, bro, I am not judging at all. Do what you gotta do to be successful with women. I think it's right. I'm thankful to be born 6'1" and so-called handsome. It's still everything else at play though for all of us. Yeah. I mean, some guys, you know, have it, some guys don't. Yeah, bro. What was that dude? That dude was tripping, wasn't he? He deleted. Shout out to my man Unpopular for deleting that comment. That was insane, bro. He was saying some crazy stuff. Homie, that's why I said like, society is fucked, bro. I don't know when this shit gonna fully collapse on itself, but it can't be. We probably got 100, 200 years left before this shit just all just like fucking just collapsed on itself. Bro, that's not short. That's like the average height. Most dudes is like 5'8", 5'9". So like you're above the average, Chris. Chris, I ain't, bro. It be. I don't think you realize this, Chris. We've been places together where you get more looks than I am, and I'm 6 foot. So, bro, the short stuff. I know dudes that's shorter than me that in high school that was getting more chicks than I was. Hell, most of your successful musicians and businessmen are short men. Make asylums great again. The average empire lasts 500 years. We are at 250. It's a downhill from here. I'm gonna be real unpopular. I don't see us lasting 500 years, bro. Hell no. I don't see it happening, bro. And I'm black pill on that kind of stuff. I ain't really that too many black pill on women. Women just kind of is what it is. I've gotten over that, but like when it comes to society and certain shit, I'm extremely black pilled. I'm like, ain't no hope for this shit. We about to all be eviscerated by nukes. Yeah, bro. He said, "Oh yeah, I was slinging D in high school. When high school ended, the entire game changed." Yeah, that's I noticed a shift in college, bro. Unpopular. I noticed, bro. Women. I noticed that women started changing up about sophomore year, freshman, sophomore year in college. I'm like, what the hell? That's when I didn't know what flaking and ghosting was. I was wet behind the ears. I started looking for answers and shit. Women. That's when I realized that the game had switched and that there was a dynamic at play that we weren't aware of. Bro, we talking about, women, we talking about women, bro, basically. If the smart and good men take charge, then we're cool. Yeah, but we gonna have to take charge through physical force. I don't see women, you know, we talk these talking points on the internet, but I don't see too many women in real life that are gonna, hear your talking points and change. We might have the Taliban this stuff. I hate to say that. Yeah, my man Chris is saying, as a teacher, I can definitely say I am worried about the future. Yeah, bro, because you got a front row seat to how these little kids and how these kids are acting and how the family dynamic that they're around is screwed. Like you got a front row seat, and you're like, bro, yeah. Roger said, yeah. Whenever I was in high school, I knew my generation was F. Dang, bro, I didn't realize how bad it was until I was in college, bro. Yes, bro. He said just let women in general, Roger, the state of the culture. Just women in general, Roger, state of the culture. Poland is like the only Western country with their ish together. I've heard some good things about Poland. It's cold as shit over there though. Um, yeah, bro, you seen it recently. Excuse me, you seen it earlier than I did. You seen it way earlier than I did, bro. I didn't notice it until college. I was like, these women is different, bro. Like the game was wild. Like I was still wet behind the ears. Like I remember this chick. I'm gaming this chick up at this house party, and like she kind of she's short and she kind of petite and had a little bit of a curve to her. And like we sit up there and we flirting and stuff the whole time, and we like she give me my number or her number, and I text her the next day. I'm and nothing. I'm like, what? The day before, in real life, you was all up on me, and now you don't want to text back. And I was like, yeah, there's something going on with these women today. Like, this has never occurred to me in life. Like, in high school or in junior high, if a woman was into you, bruh, she was gonna reply to you immediately. But then you get to knowing the game, and women don't want to seem too fast, and they're talking to multiple guys, and she's just using you for attention. And yeah, bro. Chris said, I asked the kid when he wants to be in the future. He said he wants to be a streamer. I said, oh no. Yeah, bro. And they don't even realize that streaming is hard. Like Kai Cenat and Show Speed and all of them, they have like full camera crews they have to pay for. And then you had to stream your damn near your whole life. Like they be streaming everything, bro. I don't want to stream my entire life. What the hell is wrong with these kids? Don't have no they have no comprehension of what it truly takes to be a successful streamer. I remember back in 2011, even when 17-year-olds were scandalous. Damn. Yeah. So like when this is a question I want to ask you guys, everybody in the chat right here. And you all you guys are more than welcome to chime in because we're gonna wind this live stream down. We having a good time right here. We're gonna wind it down in the next 5 minutes. But I want you guys in the chat to let me know, when did you realize that women had changed? What age did you realize that damn, like women really are effed up? This feminism has truly gotten to them. Like they're playing a different game than I'm playing. Like when did you realize that women had changed? You guys let me know on the comment section. And even if you're watching the replay, let me know in the comment section. Yep, social media done screwed over the scene. Yeah, social media definitely played a part. Unpopular said they're called, racist, but they have their group reference something no other white country has. They didn't fall for the white guilt England did. Now they have gangs of Muslims assaulting women. You talking about the Polish people? He said, my friend Chris said, bro, when I graduated college, I was like, oh, these real world women are different, bro. My man said the early Twitter days. He said those girls in college were easy. Bro, I ain't gonna lie. My freshman and sophomore year, I was struggling. I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And then after that, I've been straight ever since. But like, that was a rough period, bro. 2016, that election pushed everything too far. People taking a stand for the sake of being anti-Trump then just got more deranged over time. Roger said 2011, 2017. That's when social media, Instagram started to pop up. That's when Instagram and all that stuff began to, guys, man, dating apps too. Like the earlier you got in on the dating apps, bro. I remember, like Chris, I remember you remember this too. Like what dating apps are today and what dating apps were when we were in college, bro. Homie, it was like a layup. Homie, today you can't even use Tinder because there's so many damn bots and fake profiles and shit. Like 50% of the people that are on that you even scroll past on Tinder are not even real profiles. Back when I was in college, and it wasn't as good as it was like back when Tinder at first started. But guys, like even when I was in college, bro, like you could match with a chick on Tinder or whatnot, and bro, y'all could get it popping within a few days. And so the whole dating landscape just hasn't been the same. Yeah, and then you got OnlyFans. Oh, I can't see it on YouTube. Um, Eat Thoughts on Twitch. Now they got Tank, bruh, WhatsApp, Snapchat. Yes, bruh. Bruh, when COVID, I ain't gonna lie, guys. I'm anxious to see what you think about this unpopular. After COVID, bruh, we haven't recovered since. Like the quality of life has deteriorated after COVID. The people, the society, the rights that we have all deteriorated after COVID. Everything we discuss nowadays in 2013, bruh. Damn. I didn't realize it until like 2017, 2018, bruh. Excuse me. Chris writes, bro, they Neps had you texting 5, 6 girls and they were genuine. Then COVID happened, and then it brought these weird females on there, bro. He said, Justin the Great says, 2016 was a paradox shift, and it's like the world is changed. Yes, bro, that was a really that was that was probably the beginning of the end of like quality women. You know that 20 that tw- those 2010s, like especially 2010 to like 2017, like that really, let's just call it before COVID. The 2010s all the way to like 20 before COVID, the dating was trash, bro. And it hadn't really truly recovered, but women aren't, I would say like it kind of did get a little bit better after COVID, but really it didn't. I don't know what it was from 2010 to like 2019 that women they just lost it, bro. What do you guys think it was? You think it was social media? Because that's when social media started to pop. Like we got to realize, guys, like this stuff has been moving quick. Like we didn't have like when we were younger, social media wasn't really a thing until we were like junior high, and that was whenever you had Facebook and you was using your mom's account or your dad's account on Facebook, and they was cheating too probably. Some of y'all's mom and dad was cheating on Facebook, DMing the other parents, other parents' parents and shit. But yeah, Facebook was like junior high, and then once Instagram hit, bruh, them Instagram thoughts started coming, bruh. Nicholas writes, girls, let me see if I missed anybody. And we're gonna wind the live stream down. Roger writes, it really got worse when the feminist movement, and then they came up with the woke movement. Ah, bro, that's woke. Woke was around that time too, Roger. You're right. Girls were swiping on their phones in 2013. All the stuff we know now. Yeah, yeah, homie. These women that we talking about today, bro? They've been getting into some crazy stuff behind the scenes, guys. Some stuff that you probably would not want to know, but you should know because if you don't know, misinformation can harm you. What you don't know can kill you. E. Rogers said 2016 when I graduated, like I said, my generation who are messed up to the bone. Yeah, bro. He said I saw it coming. Uh, Getting DM by 20 different guys every single day, every single year. Yeah, yeah. I know dudes was in the DMs and women was in the DMs too, bro. And so we gotta always be on the new shift when it comes to dating because I think there's a new shift probably coming soon. If not, there's already a new type of shift. A lot of this monetized stuff. I saw when I was at school, social media screwed over the scene. Yeah, it's only Western countries, and I have a theory as to why. You let us know before we get off the live stream. It's getting late. I know you guys got to go to sleep, and I got to go to sleep too. Justin the Great says definitely social media, especially Instagram, bro. Yeah, the guys, they've been thirsting for attention ever since social media hit. This is why when you ask a woman to get rid of social media, she can't get rid of it because she's used to that attention, that dopamine hit. Posting her ass on social media. So Unpopular gonna give us his theory, then we're gonna get up out of here for the night. I appreciate you guys being on here just for the late night. They view men as replaceable. They do, bro, because they got so many different men. Now, what they don't realize is, or maybe they do realize and they just don't care, is that the majority of the options that they do have is just sexual options. They don't have a whole bunch of guys throwing rings at them. They'll tell you that so that you can move with um, a lot more. What do you call that? A lot more. She can move the relationship faster. It's like a marketing tactic. So I think we're gonna talk about that Tuesday when relationships really shifted. All right, so we're gonna get in the unpopular theory, then we're gonna get off the live stream again. I appreciate you guys coming here on the late night. You guys really miss with the late nights. I really appreciate it. As we wind down, you guys hit the like button for me. Um, ah, it's a bit edgy, unsafe for YouTube. I would say that the tiny hats. Uh, I know what you're talking about. Hate Europe and European influenced countries like America. They would be the 0.3% that controls 3% of the money. The JQ, as it were. Yeah, bro. Yeah, you're not in left field, bro. I know what you're talking about, but yeah, we can definitely not talk about them on bro. They Google owns YouTube, and they made a deal with the AdSense that pays us, and they made a deal with Google itself. I mean, we're talking about billions of dollars. You guys can look this up. And me and Unpopular, we're speaking in code, so you guys got to do your own research. But yeah, we can't talk about them at all, bro. They gonna strike your channel down and demonetize you. You can't criticize them at all, bro. And the president backs them, and it's ridiculous, bro. They run a lot of things, and a lot of people don't realize it. That's some black pill shit that most people don't want to get into. But we're not gonna get into it tonight. That's too deep for you guys tonight. Nicholas Rice, you watch AMS. That's bro. That's the first dude that I found on in 2019, bro. 2018. That's the first dude I found, bro. That was speaking on how women had changed. See, unpopular. We on the same wavelength, bro. We thinking the same way, but that's way too deep. Roger's like it gets way too deep. Shout out to my man Roger, man. We're gonna make you a moderator as well. You've been having some good talking points. I appreciate you guys coming in here, but yeah, guys, it's late as hell. We got to go to work in the morning, but I appreciate you guys coming in here and staying this. He said, "My bad, my bad. It's a rabbit hole." No, we understand. We kind of we're gonna get to a certain space to where we can talk about this stuff on a different platform, but we definitely can't talk about that on YouTube, bro. They own YouTube, and that's a reason for that. Um, But yeah, man, I appreciate you guys. We're gonna go to sleep. We're gonna get some rest and get this money tomorrow. Yeah, we have these. Yeah, put our minds together. Shout out to Nicholas. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. You guys double tap the screen as we get up out of here, and I will see you guys Tuesday night. Yeah, relax, Nicholas. But yeah, I will see you guys Tuesday night. You guys be on the lookout for that. I will see you guys then. Peace. Y'all crazy, bro.